It's open enrollment season. Everybody's trying to figure out, do you go with the HSA or do you go with the PPO plan? Do you have medical, dental, all of these other things? Let's figure this out. I'm going to break this down for you, and then I'm going to save what I would think is actually the best for last. It's more of a secret tip that some people may truly benefit from. And it's one that I can share a personal story with as well with that. So first, let's really look at, just what open enrollment will actually look like for you. Now, everything varies depending on the company, but you've got to go through your medical plan, your dental, your vision, your insurance, your disabilities, all of these fun things. When it comes to the medical plan, really big topic right this second is a high deductible plan and taking an HSA account to be able to save. Now, when you're in the high deductible plan, what that means for 2024 is if you are self-only coverage, it has to be $1,600 or more to be able to qualify for an HSA account and be considered in a high deductible plan. Family coverage is $3,200. So those are the two different breakdowns for a high deductible plan. And then with those, you can save up to $4,150 for self-only coverage and up to $8,300 for family coverage. This is huge when it comes to being able to save, put money away. We've done tons of videos on that. You can look up with our YouTube channel here. But if you're trying to figure out, what plan do I do? Well, if you've got to look at the high deductible plan versus the PPO plan, you really want to start to think through how much money are you going to be paying out of pocket? Because oftentimes employers are offering part of this money. This is total opportunity that you can put in. So if you have family coverage, $8,300 a year is what you can put into the HSA plan. Well, if the employer is putting in $1,000 for you, then you can actually only put in $7,300. Now, with this whole projection right here and what you're doing, you've got to really figure out, okay, if my deductible is, let's just say, $3,200 a year, but then all of my general expenses are only going to be covered at, let's say, 80% versus at 90% with a PPO plan, how much are you spending on healthcare? A lot of times the HSA is a great opportunity for somebody who's healthy, or the high deductible plan in general for somebody who's healthy, young, doesn't have a lot of issues, doesn't have concerns of going in network, out of network. But if you're trying to figure out what you want to do and what is best for you, you've really got to talk to your HR department on this and really start to break out the numbers of how much you have been spending on healthcare. We've actually looked at this, and I looked at this with a client who was actually spending more in healthcare than they would if they would have went with the PPO plan. They were wanting to save all of their money, but all of their money was coming out of what they had saved, plus a lot more. So it was actually better for them to go with a PPO plan, which has oftentimes higher premiums that you're having to pay monthly, but it could provide sometimes, not always, but sometimes a better service. So that's one you really want to think through and factor in. Now, then you're also going to have, dental and vision. When it comes to dental and vision, how much are you going to the dentist? How much are you spending at the dentist? And what does the plan actually cover? Does it cover your general maintenance? Maybe your dental plan is only $10 a month. And if it's $10 a month and you're going to the dentist twice a year and you're getting cleanings, that's $120 a year that you're paying. And what? Your dental is probably going to your plan is going to be paying for your premiums there. But if maybe your premiums are $20 a month and you only go once a year and you only need one cleaning and it's $120, you're out of money. So really think through how much, again, you're spending on your dental and your vision. We'll jump over here to short-term and long-term disability. Short-term disability is what you should have an emergency savings account for. We talk about this. Any financial planner is going to say, hey, you've got to have at least 3 to 6 months of emergency reserves in a bank account. Right the second, you could have it in a high-yield savings account and get 4 to 5% on your money. So why not park that money there and let it be? Now, somebody who doesn't have it, short-term disability could help you in the short term to be able to cover that, but your goal is to be able to eventually build up enough cash to self-insure short-term disability because it's only going to cover you for the short term. Now, long-term disability is a different story. This is one that it's a bit of a battle when you're dealing with insurance companies because as with any insurance, you're going to have to fight them to actually get you to pay out. I've had multiple people who have issues with this. I had a guy who had a back issue. He was a truck driver and he had long-term disability insurance. Well, he was out of work for a good period of time. The long-term disability insurance says, well, guess what? We're not going to pay you because you could go and do an office job. And he says, I don't even know how to turn on a computer. And they said, well, they gave him this whole runaround and they would not pay him out because they said he could go do the office job. So sometimes long-term disability is a little bit of a catch-all, but let's just say that you were driving in your car and you wreck your car and you get severely injured and you're out of work for a significant amount of time and you can't do even a desk job. Well, long-term disability should pay out in those scenarios. And that's one that you really want to think through. And now I mentioned probably one that's a little bit of a secret strategy. I hope that you're not in this situation and you never will be. But when it comes to life insurance with a group plan is a great opportunity to get insurance even if you are not insurable. Now, I always talk about life insurance being something that you should only look at considering term insurance in the first place. Don't go with these, whole life crazy policies that are out there and UL policies. Focus on the term insurance. But when it comes to the group coverage, I had a client who had cancer. They could not get any kind of term life insurance from anywhere. They actually were able to get it through their employer. They ended up passing away and their wife was still taken care of. This is the kind of stuff that's really cool that you can work with because a group life insurance policy does not require you to do any kind of medical exam oftentimes for at least the base amount. Sometimes they allow you to even increase that. So look at your life insurance, make sure you're getting coverage enough to take care of yourself, or not really yourself, but your spouse and your kids as well. If something were to happen to you, you may still want to consider term policies to add on to that. Or sometimes I've even found that term policies are even cheaper. But again, that secret is if you can't get a term policy because you're uninsurable is what they would call it, then you should consider the life insurance there with the group policies. So these are just a breakdown of different things that you really want to think through, but it's that time of year again. It's an exciting time, isn't it? It's all these choices you have to make. So make sure you're making the right ones. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about Jazz Wealth and how we can help as fiduciary advisors, go to jazzwealth.com. If you want more educational content, be sure to check out our videos here.